Good morning, everyone. Yeah, okay. Welcome to KLCO. And for attending today's lessons, understanding e-invoice and my invoice portal. Today is a half-day course. Okay, so I'm very glad to see all of you spend the time this morning today to come here and we learn together about what's happening in 2 months later. Going to happen. We're going to start implement the e-invoicing. Okay. All of you know nowadays the technology advancement is like crazy, right? So we have AI, we have virtual reality, we have robots now. Even maybe you can foresee 5 to 10 years later there will be a lot of AI robots in us, right? So under this technology advancement, okay, so our method of doing work is going to change, and the method of your business owner doing the business will also change, keep changing. Okay, so one of the big changes we can call it evolutions in Malaysia is this invoicing implementation. Actually, it started in last year, okay, 1st of August for the big company, more than 100 million. Okay, so this year, 1st of July, you are affected about 70% of the businesses in Malaysia, which is the revenue yearly turnover more than 500,000 a year. Right? So this coming invoicing, whether we like it or not, we have to comply. Right? So this is a good thing because now we know the world is changing. Now everything will go to digitalization. Right? So if you don't catch up of this trend, you will be left out. So we have to learn in order for us to keep ourselves, to keep track for this new technology trend. Also, actually, it's a good thing. Okay. So before the class, I want you to mark the attendance list. Thank you. Okay, you can write down your name and your company. So for our record. Okay. Okay. So I believe everyone have taken your breakfast already, right? So now it's already 9 a.m. Okay. Anyone haven't taken breakfast? Oh, yes. No, not yet. Why? Oh, okay. Never mind. If you feel hungry, you can have a snack later. We have a break time. Okay, can Okay. Today's lesson will cover the topic understanding e-invoice and my invoice portal. Okay. By end of today, you are able to know, okay, what is e-invoice. Okay. Okay, this is including the e-invoice general guidance, specific guidance, under what circumstances you need to handle the e-invoice. And secondly, okay, you are able to understand special guideline. Okay, guidelines. Okay, there is a special guideline published by LCN. It stipulates a lot of special scenario on special scenario in what kind of scenario, what kind of method you need to deal with the e-invoice. And thirdly, you are able to issue e-invoice. Using the My Invoice portal. So this is what you're going to learn for this today's class. Okay. So first thing, I'm going to divide today's lesson into 6 parts. Okay. The first thing is overview of e-invoice. Anyone of you have ever attended a similar training seminar before about this topic, e-invoice? Anyone? No, this is your first time for e-invoice training. Okay. So you have to prepare very well because 2 months to go, right? Okay. So for those, no, none of you attended. So you need to pay attention to this overview because I introduced the background of e-invoice, the basic knowledge of e-invoice, and more or less the theory part. So the theory of e-invoice is here. So specific guidelines is published by FEN for to deal with special circumstances, how you're going to handle. Okay, then go to the third one, self-bill invoice. Self-bill maksudnya sendiri buka invoice kepada sendiri. This is not issue invoice to your customer. Is you invoice, you pretend yourself is your supplier, issue invoice to yourself for the purchase. Okay, what sentences later we'll go through. So the one is consolidated invoice. Consolidated invoice is for those, okay, you no need to issue every invoice one by one. You can consolidate, combine, okay, many transactions into one invoices. How you can do so, that we'll go through. And then the fifth part today, I'm going to introduce you how you're going to issue invoice using the My Invoice portal. Okay, you need to understand this one as well. Even though you have accounting software, you know why? Because sometimes accounting software they will break down. Sometimes they lost the link to the My Invoice portal. Sometimes invoice portal they update. So the linkage between the My Invoice portal and accounting software they break down. So you need to manually go to My Invoice portal to issue invoice. So it's very important for you to learn this one also. Okay, the last part, I will go through the FAQ, frequently asked questions with you all. FAQ I extracted from the FAQ published by FCN. But most of the FAQ is not so relevant to us. It's more to like the custom side, what information you need to fill in inside K1 form, you import, export. Okay, I will cover more the basic thing. And FAQ I also modified a lot of questions. These questions I selected from my previous seminar. For those people ask a lot of questions, right? So I choose hot topic I put here. The one of the most asked questions are those related to rental income. So later you will find. You can understand a lot from this rental income issue because rental income issue is quite complicated. Once you understand this, you can understand the rest from the logic. Yeah. Okay. So we start the first part today. Overview of e-invoice. Okay, first question. What is e-invoice? E-invoice is invoice in digital form, of course. Okay. So some of my clients say, hey, I already started e-invoice many years ago. You know why? Because I'm using my computer to issue invoice. So I already got digital copy, right? So that is e-invoice, right? No. E-invoice, it must be a machine readable format. What means by machine readable format? Okay. It's not like you print out your invoice, you job site and you scan, right? Some people do so. You scan, it's a scanned copy. It's a picture form, right? Because the signature is a picture form. So it's not a digital form. Digital form means that you upload to My Invoice portal or you send to other party. Okay? The machine will understand what is the content inside because it's not picture, it's a digital data. So they can understand your SSC number, your PIN number, everything. So, and last thing, the format is XML or JSON. It's stipulated by LPN. You don't need to memorize this thing because you're using your accounting software or you're using My Invoice portal to issue the invoice, it will automatically come up with these two formats. And not the PDF or JPEG, JPG. This is a picture format. Okay. But if you are using your accounting software, after you submitted the invoice, you want to send to the client, right? So accounting software will allow you to export, generate into PDF form. But PDF form is a visualization of the e-invoice. It's not the e-invoice itself. E-invoice itself is this format. Okay? Any question so far? No? Okay. I'm going to teach you how to differentiate between traditional e-invoice and now the e-invoice. traditional invoice, it can be printed copy, it can be handwritten, it can be soft copy. Soft copy means you print out, just sign and then scan. It's a soft copy, right? But e-invoice is a digital copy. You don't need to just sign it. Okay, because it has the digital signature and a very unique ID for that invoice. No need signature anymore. Okay. Traditional invoice, you don't need to upload to LCM for validation. But e-invoice do require LCM validation. You need to submit to my invoice portal, LCM website, and then you will get the validation. And traditional no QR code because you don't need to validate. Because e-invoice, after you do the validation, you have the QR code. Okay. For example, I'll show you this invoice. Later I will show you an example of e-invoice after validation. Okay. So there are 4 types of e-invoicing transactions. Under e-invoicing is a system. Under this e-invoicing system, there are 4 documents. 4 documents. Out of 4, 3 documents you already very familiar if you are doing an account. Okay, the first one is invoice. Okay, e-invoicing must come with invoice. First thing. Okay. Then the second thing is credit note. No invoice, no credit note, right? If you're doing account, sure. You issue invoice. If you want to change any particular like selling price, okay, you want to amend or people want to get discount, you want to give discount of the invoice, you issue credit note, right? And CN, DN, debit note. I think you're very familiar with these 3 items, these 3 documents. Okay, because now you deal with these 3 every day, and under e-invoicing, we come up with new thing. We call it refund note, ARN, refund note. Okay, this normally we don't have one, but under invoicing, you will get this one. So because of this is a new thing, I will explain more about this refund note. Refund note is where you refund money to your customer. You need to issue refund note. But okay, there are few scenarios you are not required to issue refund note. Okay, the fundamental is this thing, invoice. Remember, you need to come first thing, invoice first. Okay, then only you want to change the particular of invoice, you use what? CN, DN, or refund note. Without invoice, this one not exist. Come first, okay. So by that logic, you can understand in these 3 circumstances, you no need to issue refund note. Because nowadays we never heard about refund note, but after e-invoice, you will keep hearing that, go refund note, go refund note. The first thing is payment made wrongly by buyer. What means by that? Okay, it means okay, you got one client, you never issue invoice to him, but suddenly you receive a payment from him. Oh, give me money. Then you ask him, sorry, I paid wrongly already. I want to pay to another supplier, but I paid wrongly to you. So how? You never issue invoice to this customer, but you paid money to you. So you want to refund the money to them. Can you issue refund note? You never issue invoice, so you no need to issue refund note to refund the money. You just refund. That's all. Because you no issue, no invoice before. Okay, second thing, overpayment by buyers. Okay, this customer, you charge him 1,000, let's say 1,000. He paid 2,000. Wow, so nice, or pay double. Then he tell you, sorry, I paid wrongly. I want to pay 1,000, but I paid wrongly. I typed 2. So you want to refund 1,000 back to the customer, right? Okay. So I ask you, the 1,000 you refund, is it for the invoice? Not under invoice, because you paid 2,000. 1,000 is under invoice. You refund the 1,000 is not inside the invoice. So that 1,000 refunded, no need refund note. Third thing, return of security deposit. Deposit, before you understand this, you need to know there are 2 kinds of deposit. One is refundable, one is non-refundable. Okay, can you differentiate? Okay. Refundable is means like you keep the money. Okay, you want to do some transactions with the customer, you receive the deposit. But at the first place, you already mentioned to the customer saying that, okay, this will be refunded to you after the transaction completed. It's refundable. So when you receive the money, you no need to issue invoice. Okay. Second scenario, the customer pay you deposit. You tell the customer, okay, you pay me deposit. This deposit is an advance payment. After the transaction completed, okay, I will charge you, but this deposit will be used to pay off the invoice. I not refund to you anymore. So this is non-refundable deposit. So if you receive non-refundable deposit, you need to issue invoice. Okay. So the difference is like that. Okay. So return of security deposit normally is refundable because it's just for the security. So as it is refundable, so you not issue invoice before this. Refundable, no invoice. So when you refund, no need to issue refund. Okay. Okay, so e-Invoice, I think you're quite familiar with this. Suddenly in last month, our government announced we have another phase 4. Because since beginning, we already know that start from this year July, all the businesses above 150,000 revenue, they have to start implementing invoicing like this July. But there are portion of the businesses which is less than 500,000, but it's more than 150,000. They're going to implement in next year. Okay? But majority of the businesses will be implemented in July. Okay? Okay. So you ask the 150,000 and 500,000 threshold revenue, we based on what? Okay, the answer is based on 20 to 22. Again, if you are the company, you are the Sindram Berhad, okay, we get the audited financial statement for 2022 as a guideline to see the revenue. Is it more than 100K or not? Okay. If you are a personal income, personal business like sole proprietor, partnership, you don't have audited account. So you based on what? You based on your income tax return. For me, you will state your revenue how much. So you take 2022 revenue how much to determine whether you start this year or start next year. Okay. You may ask, how about my business start 2023 or 2024 last year? I just started. I don't have 2022. So should I start by this July or should I start by next year January? Anybody know? I start business 2023. Okay, so the answer, okay, is based on revenue of your business started that year. What it means? Okay, if your business start in 2023, okay, so now you already have the account already, right? Okay, so you based on that account to judge whether you need to start by this year or next year. If you start 2024, use that account. How about if you start 2025? I never put here. Okay, all the businesses start this year. You don't have account yet. Don't have the year-end account. So you can start by next year January. Okay. If you are sure, if very sure, your revenue not going to over 150K, so you're going to start. Once you confirm start, your revenue will be more than 150. You have to start by next year. So this you understand? Okay. So consequences for not complying to e-Invoice. Okay, of course penalty. How much is the penalty? The penalty is not less than 200 and not more than 20,000, or imprisonment not exceeding 6 months. So this is very serious offense. You're going to get you into jail. But normally no lah. Normally SDF just issue a compound to you. We call it compound for non-submission. Compound normally is 200 for the first time offense. They charge you 200. But if you have many times, you will increase of the compound. Okay. But you have to bear in mind this is per. Okay. Okay. For each non-compliance, means that if you missing to issue invoice for 10 invoices, they can count one by one, 10 offense here, each 10 non-compliance, they can use this one times 10. So it's very serious. Okay, so please comply. But don't worry, you just comply first, you just issue invoice first. If you issue wrongly, they're not going to offense, not going to penalty you for you issue but wrong, something wrong with it. Because you can amend anytime. If you not comply, you not issue invoice, so you're going to offense this law. Okay, so better start. Okay, whether you can do or not, start first. Okay, do wrongly, later we see how to correct it. Okay, this is the thing. This question, what should you do if my invoice system experience disruptions? Because when this year, 1st of January, a lot of users started already. Or even though now it's close to the July, right? A lot of business start implementing invoice already. Sometimes the my invoice folder, they upload, system hang, cannot upload. Okay. I think they received a lot of reports for this failure. So they saw in the latest guideline, they come up with this question. Last time don't have one. Okay. You can imagine 1st of July this year, wow, there will be a chaos. Everybody will upload their my invoice, e-invoice to the my invoice folder. So we can foresee the system definitely will get some trouble. Okay. So what happens if you want to upload? Then you cannot upload. Okay. Keep turning up, wait. So you can take video or you can snapshot. Okay. You want to prove yourself, I have the initiative, I want to submit, but your system problem, not my problem. Okay, if you can prove that, okay, if LGN want to penalize you for this, you can show your proof. Okay, it's not your problem, it's the system problem. So will not take any action against you. So what you need to do, you need to demonstrate yourself, evidence, you want to prove, you want to get evidence. The best is you use a video or you use a screenshot. Okay. So you definitely need to know because 1st of July you can foresee this will happen. So for those coming now I still in the introduction stage for the my invoice system and just now we introduced about the basic knowledge of e-invoice. Okay. Please mark your attendance. Thank you. Okay. Now we talk about my invoice. My invoice is a portal. Okay. Collect the e-invoice data. Okay. So no matter you using these manual submissions or using API. Okay. What is manual submission using the my invoice portal? Is a portal hosted by LBM. It's a website. My invoice is a website. Okay. It's a free website for you to log in and issue invoice. Okay, you need to using the my invoice to issue invoice when your API connection is down. API is this one. What means by API? API is application programming interface. You don't need to remember this wording. You just take it as your accounting software. Or if you are retail sales, you take it as your POS system. POS system. Okay. It's an interface to connect your accounting system with my invoice folder. Because no matter you using your handphone, because handphone also can issue invoice. Using your handphone, you're using your POS system, or you're using your computer accounting software to issue invoice. Ultimately, where the e-invoice goes, e-invoice will go to my invoice folder. So your accounting software is just an interface only. Like a bridge between your software and the my invoice folder. Okay, to communicate between my invoice folder and accounting software. Okay, so the progress, okay, the step, okay, how is going on. First thing, of course, you issue invoice. Okay, after you issue invoice, you need to submit to my invoice folder to what? Validation of invoice. After you validate, okay, when you validate, you need to key in the email. Your email and your customer email. So the my invoice folder will send notifications of the invoice to you and your customer. Two person will receive. Okay. But so far, as I try I haven't received any email for this. Even though I submitted, validated, but I haven't received any notification. But you can check on your My Invoice portal. It will appear. There's a list. You can check what invoice you have issued and what invoice people issue to you also. It's appear that. But notification maybe they just still improving because now since last week they started to mandatory for you. They force you to key in phone number and email address. Because last month because I started issuing invoice already. Because I need to try first So I never key in email, I never key in phone number. It can let go, it can validate, no problem. But last week cannot already. Because they keep strengthen the rules. Okay. So maybe next time you will automatically receive the email for the notification. Then you need to, if you issue invoice, you are the one to issue. You need to share your invoice to your customer. Of course, you know why? Because you want to chase money, right? Beside the notification from FDN, you also will send to your customer. So the customer receive two times. One is from FDN, one is from you. Okay. So after that, if we receive the invoice from you, within 72 hours, your customer can reject your invoice, or you yourself can cancel the invoice within 72 hours. Okay? If none of you take actions, you not cancel, your customer not reject the invoice, then how? Then the invoice will become permanently stored inside My Invoice portal. So this is the cycle of the e-invoice system. Okay, next thing. Okay, this is the buyer. This is the illustrations of how you're going to work e-invoice. Okay. This buyer, there are two circumstances. One thing is this buyer go to buy some things. They request the e-invoice on the spot when they pay money on the counter. They say, I want to have e-invoice. Okay. Then there are three methods to issue e-invoice from the seller. First thing, they can using the web portal, mobile app. Okay, online platform. You can use this means using computer or using the mobile apps. Okay. The second thing, they're using the post system. If the retailer using the post system. Now post system can small thing only. They can even connect to My Invoice portal and issue e-invoice. Okay. Then the third one, using your mobile app, your handphone to issue e-invoice can also. So computer, post system, or your handphone on the spot. Okay. If not, when the buyer go home already, they will get, I forgot to request e-invoice. So post-transaction means after the transaction, you go home on the next day. You want to get e-invoice, can or not? Can. Okay, did not request e-invoice. Then the buyer go to online platform through the mobile app to request for the e-invoice. Can or not? Can. Okay. Actually now you can try already. You go to like family store, you go to the card one and SK you buy grocery, right? They give you receipt. Underneath there is the QR code. They ask you to scan, okay, to request for invoice. You key in your name, your IC number, your PIN number, then you can request for the invoice. So using your mobile app is okay. So this is the thing. Even try go to Aeon atau Just Tesco you beli barang ada QR code, tak nampak. Next time you take note, you buy, you try to see underneath, you can scan okay. Even now, okay. So when the first time our Prime Minister Anwar announced the e-invoice, they no guideline. Everybody go panic. Wow. So how I selling burger and the roadside also issue invoice. So the time no guideline, so everybody panic. So now we got guideline. Guideline already 4 version, 4 or 5 because the latest update is on last month, March, 15 March. Okay. But these 55 fields you need to fill in, they haven't changed. They never change since the day one. Okay. Everybody see this one also panic, even the guy come out. Wow, so many things we need to do in, but I will show you no need to worry so much because most of the thing you already key in now. You're using the system to issue invoice, right? Wait, you want to issue invoice? No matter you're using auto count, I think most of you using auto count. Not for you. Sometimes for the small medium company, maybe they're using auto count, they use SQL or accounting software. You want to issue invoice, you have to create customer first. Or you want to key in your supplier invoice, you create your supplier data. When you create this information, you just key in. You key in one time only, right? So every time you issue invoice, you just click this customer, then you type the details of your item. So this thing, most of the thing preset one. So you don't worry. Just first time you key in. Okay. So then after this, you key in your product things. Product thing, of course, there's more thing to key in. But I want to highlight to you this thing. Classification. This is a new thing. Last time we don't have. Last time invoice. Okay. Your buyer, right? Preset one. Address, telephone number, everything by automatically come out. You select the customer come out already. You change the date. Then you want to key in your product. Okay. Your product. Number one, what product, number two, what product. Normally don't have classification code, but now we have already. Later I will show you what is the classification code you need to key in. Okay, and this is optional field. You don't need to key in, or you want to key in also can. But normally no people key in one. Okay, there are one thing I want to share with you, which is buyer information. Buyer information here. PIN number is a must. Identification is a must. Email, yeah, as I mentioned to you, last time you don't need to key in email can, but now it's mandatory. Means you can start collecting your customer email address already. Make sure you have a valid email address for you to send out the invoice to them. And address, of course, is a must. Contact number also. Last time you don't need to key in contact number. Now they force you to key in contact number. This too. Otherwise, they will give you error message. Please key in valid contact number of your customer. Okay. So these two things are. Okay. And this is the additional field you need to key in. If you have the shipping information, you want. Sometimes people already have shipping information on their invoices now. So it's the same thing. Like invoice you also put this. Okay, import or export, you need to key in the tariff code. Okay, free trade agreement, something like you will import and export businesses, you need to key in this one. Okay, but last time maybe you don't need to key in, but now you need to key in. Okay, why they put it as optional? Because I read the guideline. They say that now they are synchronizing the data between LTN and custom. Okay, these are all custom information. Now in the progress to synchronize, not yet. When will they synchronize? I don't know. Once synchronized, this one will become a mandatory. But now you want to key in or you don't key in, you can also submit your invoice, no problem. Okay. But when will become a mandatory, I'm not sure. So just now I show you, right? I mentioned to you, they are classification code you need to key in for your products. Okay. There are 45 products, okay, in the classification published by LCN until now. Okay, last time I think 30 something. They keep updating. They add the items when they come out with program item. They just key in. Okay, you can note it from here. See, number one, just reading childcare, computer. Okay, assignment, gym membership also got. Okay. These are very familiar, right? If you submitting your personal income tax under personal relief, you noted this kind of thing. Is it examinations, medical examinations and testing for serious disease? Because if you understand this, you will know what is the purpose they want you to key in the classification code. Means that if you buy something, for example, you join a gym membership, Gym membership you can entitle for personal relief, right? Under the lifestyle. Okay. If the gym provider they issue invoice to you, they get your TIN number, so they upload to FDN. FDN already know you got gym membership. So under when you want to submit your personal tax, the relief they fill in for you already. You buy computer, lifestyle computer, fill in already. So you don't need to fill in yourself. Your income, they also know because your employer is submitting Form E. Form E got your income. Okay? So the supplier key in your detail, they know your relief. So your tax is calculated for you already. You just click submit on it. This is the future. You don't need to key in, you don't need to calculate the personal tax. They will calculate for you. But how precise is depends. Sometimes you need to check also. All these things out, so you need to key. Okay. One thing to highlight to you is this one. Kosong dua others. Because this only got 45. It's not enough because so many products in this world, right? So if you cannot find your service or your goods here, you just key in, okay, kosong dua lah. Okay, later we will see this. Okay, I will show you. Concession to fill in details. Okay, this is a concession given by FDN because when normally in Malaysia, when we start implement something new law, we will go to concession. I give you senang sikit at the starting. Later we try to get it harder. Okay, this is the concession given. If you issue invoice for these retailers, okay, like they selling, they open supermarket or something. Individual, the customer are mostly individual. If you come here, you ask them to give you TIN number. What will they say? Mana I tahu TIN number ya? Nobody. You can remember. Even I can also cannot remember my own TIN number. So there is a concession. Okay. So if you're dealing with the individual buyer, you have two options. The first thing is you get for Malaysian, you get the TIN number. Okay, for non-Malaysian also can have TIN number one. Can. Okay. But why? How you going to do if they don't know the TIN number? You can get their my card, means IC number. Can also. Okay, for non-Malaysian, you get the passport. Okay, or PR number. Remember, this is option. Two, choose one. Okay, or if you have two number together, you key in two, can or not? Yes, can. So the thing is, you key in two or you key in either one. Okay, if don't have this one, can or not? Cannot. Must have at least one information. But okay, highlight again for individual buyer only. Company cannot. Company you need to key full details. Okay, for individual buyer only. Okay, this is the illustrator of the e-invoice. E-invoice will be looked at this side. Your company letterhead. This is your invoice. Your details. This is your customer details. Okay, this is the like you can see a unique identifier number. This is your normal invoice number. Where now you have invoice number yourself one. This is your company one, and this UID. Okay, is given by the my invoice portal. When you submit, they will assign a number for you, so they will know your numbers, your date and time submitted. Okay, and also you have the digital signature. You can see this one. This is the digital signature. You don't need to sign. Okay, and most importantly, you have this QR code. If you saw this QR code, means this invoice is being validated. If no QR code, means not validated. It's not the e-invoice. So we use this as a benchmark to see whether this invoice is available. Okay, classification code you can see from here. Start phone 003. So the rest are the same. So you just add this thing. So don't worry about invoice. Actually, it's not as hard as we think. Actually, it's quite easy. Just click submit. Okay. For my experience, I submit invoice. The fastest is 2 seconds. I click 1, 2. Okay. QR code come up very fast. And the longest is about 15 seconds. Last time is 10 seconds. Now I experience 15 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. 15 seconds later, give me the QR code. Okay. If too long, you wait too long, don't respond to you. And maybe sometimes they give you error message. So your invoice is not valid. So maybe it's because your information you key wrongly. So you need to check back your record. Because if they detect your number, because you need to key PIN number and the business identification number. Okay? If they detect this is not matched, they will reject you one. System reject. So you need to check. Okay? If correct, then sure will get validated. No problem. Very fast, surprisingly. Okay, this is e-invoice from my firm. Okay, this is a real one, okay, you see my letterhead. Okay, my customer details here. Last time I never key contact number, right? Can submit, but now cannot already. Okay, then you will see this big QR code. That means this is a validated e-invoice. Okay, my service is audit service. Audit service is not under the 45 classification code. I cannot find. So what I do, I put 022, I mentioned to you, is others. Okay. 027 is reimbursement. It's the third day, so I can key it. Okay, so you need to key the text. I got SST, right? So the confusion pretty clear. So no need to chalk sign already. So this is a real scenario, right? Okay, so the session 1 ended. Hi, anyone? Any question?
How about buyer and supplier for pharmacy regarding the PIN number?
Later I will show you.
Oh, okay.
There is a general code for people you don't have the PIN number from them. Normally it's EI 009 then 10 or 30. Later I will discuss about this. If not questions, we take a break for about 5 minutes, can? Okay, we go to session 2 later. Thank you. Want to go toilet, want to